The crash did not announce itself with fire or thunder, only with a violent silence that swallowed the street at noon, when the sun was high and life was supposed to feel safe. Twisted metal rested in the middle of a bright city intersection, glass scattered like frozen rain, and two lives lay suspended between before and after. A single father knelt beside a damaged luxury car, his hands shaking, his breath shallow, realizing that the woman bleeding inside it was the same woman he had loved quietly for years without ever saying her name out loud. In that moment, fear, regret, and hope collided harder than the vehicles ever could. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of love that waits patiently, take a second to like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel One Heart Stories, because stories like this live where compassion still matters. Ethan Cole had never planned to be brave. He was a daytime delivery supervisor, a widowed single father who measured his days in school pickups, grocery receipts, and the soft weight of his daughter sleeping against his shoulder. That afternoon, he was crossing the street after finishing a shift early, thinking about how he would surprise 6-year-old Myra with her favorite mango ice cream. The screech came first, then the impact, then the impossible stillness. The black sedan had taken the hit head-on, its front crushed inward, steam rising gently in the sunlight like a fragile breath. Ethan ran because his body moved before his fear could stop it. Inside the car was Liana Hart, a name that carried power in boardrooms and headlines. As CEO of a fast-growing renewable energy company, she was known for her calm authority and sharp decisions. To the world, she was composed and untouchable. To Ethan, she was the woman who once sat beside him at a hospital fundraiser, laughing softly at his awkward jokes while his daughter colored on the floor. She was the woman who sent anonymous donations to Myra's school after learning Ethan struggled with fees. She was the woman who looked at him with recognition, as if she saw beyond his tired clothes and quiet ways. He had loved her from a distance, believing some feelings were meant to stay gentle and unspoken. The ambulance sirens were late. People gathered, phones raised, voices blending into noise. Ethan stayed where he was, holding pressure, whispering words he hoped would keep her anchored to the light. He thought of Myra's face that morning, the way she asked if he was happy, the way he smiled and said yes because it felt easier than explaining the ache. Fear tightened around him, because losing Liana felt like losing a future he had never allowed himself to imagine. Liana's life had not been easy either, despite the success. She had built her company from nothing after losing her parents young, believing control was the only protection against pain. Relationships never lasted, not because she didn't care, but because she was afraid to need. Meeting Ethan had unsettled her in ways she didn't understand. His kindness was not performative. His love for his child was visible in every small action. He never asked for anything, and somehow that made her want to give everything. Still, she kept her distance, telling herself that different worlds should not collide. Recovery was slow but merciful. The crash made headlines, then faded. Liana survived, though her confidence cracked in places no one could see. Ethan visited the hospital during the day, sitting quietly with Myra, who drew pictures and taped them to the wall. There were no dramatic confessions, only presence. Liana watched Ethan help his daughter with homework on a plastic tray table, and something inside her shifted. Strength, she realized, did not always look like control. Sometimes it looked like showing up every day, even when you were afraid. When Liana was discharged, life demanded decisions. The board urged her to slow down. Doctors warned her about stress. For the first time, she listened. She invited Ethan and Myra to walk with her in the park during the afternoons, sunlight filtering through leaves, the city moving at a kinder pace. Ethan struggled with guilt, believing he had crossed an invisible line by caring so deeply. He feared that love, once named, could be taken away. But the more time passed, the more he understood that love did not weaken him. It steadied him. Liana began to see the world beyond metrics and growth charts. She learned Myra's routines, her fears, her dreams. She learned Ethan's silences and the stories behind them. The crash had stripped away the illusion that there would always be more time. What remained was the courage to choose honesty. Not in speeches or grand gestures, but in small, consistent acts of care. Just before the end of this story, take a moment to comment below and share what part stayed with you the most, because your words help keep these stories alive. The day came when Ethan stood in the same bright intersection, now repaired, traffic flowing as if nothing had ever happened. He realized that survival was not the miracle. Connection was. Liana stood beside him, steady on her feet, softer in her smile, stronger in her heart. They had not erased their pasts. They had woven them together, choosing a future built on patience and truth. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who believes love can arrive quietly, and subscribe to One Heart Stories. Your support turns stories into bridges, and bridges into hope.